Welcome back to the program. E.D. White, big win against Vanderbilt last week. Assumption, big win against Donaldsonville, even magnified a little bit more because Donaldsonville played Dutchtown pretty tough tonight. So you know Donaldsonville is actually a pretty good team. Here we go. This game was played over in Napoleonville, 2 undefeated, so somebody's got to go down. I'm going to guess this is the opening kickoff, and he goes out of bounds. All right, here we go. Moving on. Jeremiah Jarvis catches the ball right here, but immediately tackled by a good defensive back, Matt Daigle, for the Cardinals. And Hunter Gotro, who is a good quarterback, does a good job. He throws it out there to number 1 for the Mustangs. There is Hunter Gotro again. But that ball is intercepted. Again, that's Daigle. He does a great job. I tell you, last week he had a good game also. So it's over, and if I'm not mistaken, that's Benton Arsenal, but he is intercepted on that play by Ross Mobile, who returns it very deep into E.D. White territory. So Assumption is set up here. Again, this is very early in the game, folks. Hunter Gotro, nice pass. Ooh, nice stick. Levi Boudreaux on the stick right there, if I'm not mistaken, number 26. Assumption again. They got rid of the Mustang on the helmet, it looks like right there. That is number 8, Chris Skidmore. He runs it around the right side. He's tackled by Bradley Claymore. But they do get it in. Right there you see it. Charles Jefferson gets in for a touchdown. And you can see that was the first score of the game with 4:42 left in the first quarter. The extra point is good. And after E.D. White doesn't do a whole lot with the ball, the Mustangs get it back, and Hunter Gotro at the quarterback position. Here you see him. Nice little pass out there in the flat. And a pickup of a few yards for the Mustangs. That was Jalon Knockham who does that. And you see the cheerleaders as they run it out. Pretty resounding win for Assumption. Good football team, 24-7. At the bottom you see East St. John, 35. St. Louis Catholic, usually pretty good out of the Lake Charles area, 21. So East St. John rebounds. You were there. You know about that program. Had a lot of kids coming back at East St. John?
Yeah, a lot of kids. Got a fantastic quarterback named Darian Monroe. He's already a commitment to Texas A&M. Could probably commit anywhere as a DB. They've got some really special athletes. Got a good senior class this year, so they should be able to make some noise in 5A.
Very good. Let's get out to Matthews. Central Lafourche taking on a very good Patterson team. This is game 1 for Patterson. Remember last week their game with Crowley was postponed, then canceled because the teams out of that area did not play last week because of the bad weather. Their parish did not let them play. So Patterson finally gets to play tonight, and it is in Central Lafourche. Here we go. We're in the third quarter of this game, and Patterson, unfortunately for Central Lafourche, has kind of got it in hand right here. Here's Luke Fogel at the quarterback position, but he's tackled by Cortland Griffin on that play. Just a tough night for the Trojans tonight. And here's a punt to Trevon Stewart. This young man is going on to further his career at Houston. And they got 3 of them on this team who are going on to play major collegiate football. He at Houston, 1 at Florida, and 1 at Vanderbilt. And I say Vanderbilt, I mean Vanderbilt in Nashville, Vanderbilt University. So they got some guys who can play like they do every year. And it seems like I've been calling Justice Jones, the quarterback's name, for the last 15 years. But he's finally a senior on that team. Mark Jones last year called him a lot. This team has got a great chance of going back to the Dome in AAA football. Here we go again. Justice Jones gives it to Mark Jones, and he runs it up there. Nice run. That's where they're a little suspect sometimes. That extra point was good, but field goals and extra points for them can be sometimes an adventure. But they have no trouble with Central Lafourche tonight, 36-0. One thing I could say about Travis Douglas, he did not shy away from competition. As next week he's got Brother Martin. So it gets tough again because Brother Martin's always a good football team. John Ehret plays West Jeff extremely close. So now remember, a lot of people have West Jeff in the top 3 in 5A football in the state of Louisiana, and South Lafourche will be hosting John Ehret next week. So that's an interesting score. And we actually have one more game that we want to look at before we get to the break, and that is South Lafourche High School. South Lafourche got to play on Monday of this week in Destrehan because of the storm situation. So it makes for a real short week. They lost that game to Destrehan, but did some really good things in that game, but got to come back a week later. Now, as I'm doing radio tonight in your game, we're getting scores in, and it looks pretty good for South Lafourche most of the way. And then all of a sudden, it must have got bad, because when I got in here, it was not the score that I thought it would be. Let's get out to Galliano, and a nice thing tonight. They have dedicated the field to Ralph Perry, a man I used to coach against when I was at South Terrebonne, and had the utmost respect for him. And he is a two-time state champion, a terrific man who passed away this past year. Here we go. Seth Griffin, man, I brag on this guy every week, but he could do it all. He could throw it, he could run it. He throws it to Bruce Lee. And here is Bruce Lee coming around left side for about 20 yards. Those are not the Plaquemine uniforms I remember. I'm just getting old.
Yeah, they've gotten off the green, all green uniforms.
Yes, there's not a whole lot of green in that one. Here, Seth Griffin again throws it out to Hunter Alario. And this was all, again, very early in this game as we were getting back in time, but what a terrific catch right there by Alario. And early on, it was good for South Lafourche, but it didn't end up that way. They go down 28-26 to Plaquemine. Plaquemine is the team that Vanderbilt Catholic has next week. So there's a lot of teams that we see that are going to be coming up in the near future. So that's a tough loss. 2 in a week, actually 2 in 5 days. Yep. Is my math right? Monday to Friday. Yep. So it's just a tough week for South Lafourche. You see Shaw defeated Fisher. Not surprised. As a matter of fact, the only surprise there is that Shaw is playing Fisher. That surprises me a lot. South Lafourche it's kind of like the Vanderbilt thing. Don't get too concerned, folks. They're going to be okay.
Yeah, we went look at them Monday. And they're big, they're physical, they're South Lafourche. They got good-looking offensive linemen. They've got a little back in there. You know, they don't have that dynamic running back that's going to be a D1 recruit, but they got a little kid, you know, a whole bunch of them that are going to get in there, and they're going to lower their shoulder, and they're going to be tough to tackle and all that. That Destrehan game, it just kind of seemed like they're a little bit snake-bitten away. You know, they had some drives going. Crazy bounce of the ball here, a penalty. They had a couple penalties that were pretty iffy, I thought, from the stands. And it just, things couldn't go their way in that game.
Well, like I said, they got Errett next week. It's a tough schedule, and Errett's obviously a pretty good football team. But South Lafourche is always that step away, and I think that actually could be a great opportunity for South Lafourche the way it works out. Got to take a commercial break. We're going to look at the entire scoreboard. We're going to look at the St. Mary Parish schools. But when we get back, real quickly, we're going to make a phone call to Ann Arbor, Michigan, because there is a man from Montague, Brandon Savoie, who is going to the Notre Dame Michigan game. He is, I'll tell you more about it when you get back. This guy is Michigan through and through, and he's up there, so we'll talk to him just a bit. We'll be back after this break.